Just look at all these beautiful colors and how nicely they transition. At first, I started making this scarf a bit wider, but the color transitions weren't happening so nicely. So I unraveled the scarf and reduced the width of the scarf by 4 stitches. And that way I was able to achieve these perfect colorful stripes. The scarf has a very nice velvety texture, and this is a very simple stitch. There is only one repeating row. It is textured, and I think this is a very nice combination of the yarn and the stitch. Personally, I think that simple stitches with only one repeating row or at most 2 are the best for variegated yarns. To make this scarf, I use 2 skeins of Landscapes by Lion Brand yarn. This is a category 400% acrylic yarn. The specific color I used is Rainforest, and my scarf came out 58 inches long and 7 inches wide. I believe this yarn is now discontinued, but if we use yarnsub.com to look for the alternatives or for the substitutions, we can see that Loops and Threads Faucets Worsted is a 99% match. Also, Hobby Carnival is a 98% match. And World of Yarn Manarola is 98% match. So there are some other yarns very similar that you can use to make this scarf. The yarn is Red Heart Unforgettable, and the hook size is I 5.5 millimeters. You can start with any amount of chains as long as the amount of chains is even. I start with 26 chains. Here I have 26 chains. Now I'm going to crochet a row of single crochets, but I'm going to make the single crochets into the back loop of the chain. So if I flip my chain this way, the back loop is right here. So first I'm gonna make a single crochet into the second chain from the hook into the back loop of it. And let me show you this loop. So if I flip the chain, that's the first chain from the hook. This is gonna be the second one. And this is the back loop of it. And then the back loop of the next chain is this one. The back loop of the next chain is this one. So that's where I'm going to make single crochets. So again, into the second chain, working into the back loop, I make a single crochet. And then again, I make a single crochet into the back loop of the next chain. And that's how I'm going to crochet this entire row, simply making single crochets into the back loop of the chain. And when I crochet this way, what I get is this chain looking edge at the bottom. Here I made the first row. So again, if I look at the bottom of this first row, I have a chain-like looking edge. I turn my work and I start the next row with 1 chain, and into the first single crochet I make a single crochet. Next I'm going to make a half double crochet, but I will only make it into the front loop of the next stitch. So yarn over and inserting the hook under one loop only, the front loop, I make a half double crochet. Next I make a single crochet into the next single crochet through both loops, so just a regular single crochet. And the next stitch is going to be half double crochet worked into the front loop only. And that's how I'm going to alternate in this row: a single crochet, a regular one through both loops, and then half a double crochet into the front loop only. And that's how I'm going to continue all the way across. And here at the end of the row, I end with a single crochet into the last stitch. I turn my work and I start the next row with one chain, and into the first single crochet I make a single crochet. And now I will work a half double crochet again, but I will not work it into the next half double crochet, but into the front loop of the stitch of the second row below. So this is one row below and this is the second row below, and over here I have a front loop of the stitch that corresponds to this stitch, and that's why I'm going to make a half double crochet. So yarn over and I insert the hook into that loop. So I insert the hook from below up, and that's where I make a half double crochet, and this loop stretches a little and makes this little, I don't know what to call it, half circle. And now I make a single crochet into the next single crochet. Now again, I'm going to work a half double crochet into the front loop, but it's not the front loop of one row below, but the second row below, right here. Yarn over and inserting the hook from the bottom up, from below up, I make a half double crochet and I get this second stretched loop over here again. Next, a single crochet into the next single crochet, and again a half double crochet into this front loop of the second row below. And that's how I continue crocheting this row, just alternating, making a single crochet through both loops, just a regular single crochet, and then a half double crochet into this front loop of the stitch in the second row below. And I end this row with a single crochet, just a regular single crochet, work through both loops. I turn my work, and the next row is gonna be worked the same way as the previous one. So I start with one chain, and into the first single crochet I make a single crochet. And now I'm gonna work a half double crochet into the front loop only, but it's not this front loop, but the front loop in the second row below. So it's this one right here, and this is where I work a half double crochet, so I get this stretched stitch. Next, a single crochet into the next single crochet, and again half a double crochet into the front loop only, but not this front loop, but the one below. And again a single crochet, and then a front loop into the second row below, and that's where I work the half double crochet. And that's how I'm going to continue crocheting this row. At the end of the row I simply make a single crochet into the last single crochet. I turn my work, and all I do now is repeating the previous row. So I start with one chain and a single crochet into the first stitch, and then a half double crochet into the front loop, but not of the next stitch, but the stitch below the next stitch. And then again a single crochet and a half double crochet, and so on. And that's how this pattern works. All I need to do now is to repeat that third row, and this stitch creates a beautiful fabric. For the last row, all I'm gonna do is make a row of single crochets, because remember we started with a row of single crochets, and now let's end with a row of single crochets so we have a nice edge here. So I turn my work, and then I simply work a single crochet into each single crochet, and I make that single crochet through both loops, just regular single crochets all the way across. And now I can just fasten off, hide the yarn tail, and the scarf is finished.